USC has expanded who can attend this year's commencement. See why many graduating students are still frustrated.
A new film festival is using art, culture, and pride to improve Latinx representation in cinema. A peek at some of the films coming up.
Fans can return to Staples Center tomorrow for LA's first major indoor sporting event of the year. Annenberg Media starts now.
Live from USC, you're watching Annenberg TV News.
USC announced that out-of-state guests may attend commencement if fully vaccinated. Good evening, I'm Savannah Welch reporting from Oklahoma City.
And I'm Mimi Geller reporting on campus outside Wallace Annenberg Hall. Reporter Martin Weiss talked with students about the challenge of making plans without having more information.
The end of the school year is fast approaching, and the prospect of graduation has everyone excited. If only we knew when it was. The university told students of the classes of 2020 and 2021 to register for graduation on April 1st if they were planning on attending the ceremonies, which are supposed to take place twice a day from May 14th to May 25th. May 14th is a month from today, and the university still has not issued individual dates so students know exactly which day and time to plan for. Kira Dixon is a reporter finishing up her specialized journalism degree from Annenberg in the spring.
It's a little hard because I'm a working professional, and I'm out on the road for my job with the Golf Channel, and it's hard to schedule things for me about anything, let alone a major life event like a graduation.
Johnny Dorsal is getting his degree from Annenberg next month.
It's hard. My mother is a nurse. She's been working all through COVID, and for her to take days off, it's not something she could just call up and be like, hey, I'm not coming in tomorrow. Like, I need to give her a heads up. I got to give my pops a heads up. My older sister, like my whole family, they work. You know what I'm saying? They haven't stopped working, and they have schedules. They have their own lives. So as much as they love me and they want to come support me, the earlier I could tell them, the better. So I think that time has already passed, to be honest.
Of course, everyone's a little tired and frustrated after a long semester on Zoom. I reached out to the USC Public Relations Office for comment and did not hear back, but the deadline to RSVP for commencement is tomorrow, so hopefully the university can provide some clarification soon. For Annenberg Media, I'm Martin Weiss.
There's been a big reaction from USC chemistry students because one of their favorite professors was pulled from teaching organic chemistry in the fall. Professor Ki Young had too many students in his fall 2021 organic chemistry section. He sent an email to the registered students warning them about his high expectations and urging some to switch to another section. The chemistry department told students Professor Ki Young was being pulled from that class, saying his email may have been, quote, confusing or inappropriate. His students created a petition to bring him back to teach organic chemistry this fall.
The email was really uncharacteristic for a college professor, but I almost enjoyed that just because teachers are so, especially in the STEM classes, are so unwilling to be like, hey, this is how it is. For USC to be kind of engaged in such performative activism here and trying to, actually remove him from teaching the class, it really stirred me up.
Course scheduling and stuff, it was such a hassle for us. And it felt like he actually cared about the scheduling portion of it and was trying to make our lives just a little easier. So none of us were offended. We just all thought it was really funny.
Annenberg Media reached out to Dorn Seif about the petition. The chemistry department responded saying, quote, Professor Ki Young remains an active and valued member of our faculty, and he will continue to be involved in the undergraduate organic chemistry teaching program. It's still not clear who will be teaching organic chemistry in the fall.
Anyone 16 and older will be eligible for a COVID-19 vaccination starting tomorrow. USC is an open hub vaccination site, meaning any vaccines distributed by the university are reserved for USC students and employees. USC is distributing vaccines to students by appointment only at the Lyon Center. Students interested in receiving the vaccine should schedule an appointment online through the USC Health Portal, call the health office, or use myturn.ca.gov. USC will schedule appointments based on the amount of vaccine the county provides each week.
As more Americans are getting the vaccine, some are concerned the government will require proof of vaccination. Orange County officials say there will not be a mandate for a so-called vaccine passport in Orange County.
So the idea behind the passport more broadly is that, of course, Orange County, the barriers to Orange County is virtually nil in terms of coming from other places or other countries or other regions within California or within the United States.
The city is offering an optional digital passport program for COVID-19 vaccinations. While Orange County will not require immunizations, private businesses may require customers to be vaccinated.
Many California community colleges are struggling during the pandemic. Reporter Isabella Bright talked with higher education experts about what's at risk.
The largest college system in the nation is experiencing alarming drops in enrollment. Despite decreases in students, some faculty remain optimistic about plans to bring students back.
You may have heard that the state of California is giving out additional funding to community colleges to increase enrollment. So we're going to be receiving those funds as well. And so we're going to be using them to supplement our regular marketing campaigns, regular outreach and promotion in the community to try to encourage students to get back in the classroom. Because one thing that we have found is that the longer a student delays college enrollment after high school graduation, the less likely they are to ever go to college. So we want to really get students back in the classroom.
So we did see a slightly larger drop off in headcount for the spring semester. I actually think we'll get back most of those students.
One expert identifies what she believes is the true cost of decreasing enrollment.
So this is a problem that we should be thinking both from the perspective of the student of not being able to capitalize on their potential, and from the perspective of the economy and the institutions, which if they don't put their act together, they are going to be in very difficult situations. They might have to close certain programs, they might have to close certain campuses. So this is serious.
According to the nonprofit edsource.org, fall 2020 saw 260,000 fewer students enrolled compared to fall of 2019. That's a 16.8% drop.
A spokesperson for the California Community College Chancellor's Office says colleges hit hardest may be at risk if enrollment doesn't pick up in the near future. For Annenberg Media, I'm Isabella Bright, reporting from Menifee, California.
The next executive director of the state's largest LGBTQ+ civil rights group is a USC alum. Tony Huang was the board's unanimous choice to run Equality California.
Speaking from personal experience as a first-generation, immigrant, a person of color, how do we make sure that we are focusing in on the intersection of some of these identities, right? Whether you're talking about racial justice, immigration reform, reproductive justice, these are all issues that affect the LGBTQ+ community. The only way that we're going to fight back is standing up for each other in this moment. So I'm really excited as I move into this new role to continue to make sure that Equality California is focused on these issues.
In 2009, Huang immigrated from Vietnam to study at USC. He worked as a field intern at Equality California. He has risen through the ranks, being named Director of Operations and then Chief of Staff. Now, he's reached the top spot as Executive Director.
A new UCLA study finds that Black students in LA County continue to face barriers in and out of the classroom, from exposure to environmental toxins to serious confrontations with school police officers. In 12 school districts, 50+% of Black students are not meeting state standards for English language, arts, and math. In 10 districts, 40% of families live 200% or more below the federal poverty line. And in 8 districts, Black students are twice as likely to experience homelessness relative to other student groups.
The educational field, health professionals, social and emotional, individual organizations should be able to come together and be specific and look at their data and make certain that they are targeting specific resources for our most vulnerable children, which specifically in this case, not only Black, but our Black students who are in foster care, who are also experiencing homelessness, and a lot of students who are students with disabilities.
As schools reopen, Johnson says he is optimistic that steps can be taken to reimagine what healthy and supportive schools look like for students of color and their families.
Latinx representation in film is marginal, but one organization is hoping to change that. Reporter Devark Turner has more on a film festival that celebrates Latinx art, culture, and pride.
Our story begins on Halloween night, where our characters are decorating for screams and fright.
Nope, this isn't a late April Fool's joke. For Brian Vaca, it is Halloween in April. His ghost-themed film, Autumn in LA, is being screened during USC's first Latinx Film Festival.
This short film, it really means a lot to me because it was the first time, it's actually the first short film I ever made outside of class. It just means a lot to just be around other Latino filmmakers, making other stories that we love come to life.
The Latinx Film and Media Association aims to empower underrepresented artists, and festival director Cynthia Rodriguez is thrilled to provide a platform for filmmakers.
Every single film that I've seen, like there's so much emotion and that these filmmakers have put into their work. 25
films will be screened during the virtual festival, which kicked off on April 9th and closes Saturday. Filmmakers of various majors, guest speakers, and attendees get to network and appreciate Latinx art.
Our emphasis is really just on Latinx culture because we feel like in an industry that almost ignores it and ignores people who are involved, I think that our film festival is really for that because I'm not aware of any other film festivals that I know of on campus that do that kind of thing.
A 2019 Annenberg study found that only 3% of the 100 top grossing films from 2007 to 2018 featured a Latino actor in a prominent role. USC Latinx artists now have a place to be represented, but organizers did have to overcome a few challenges.
It's been very difficult as a new organization to get funding, and we just don't know like where the funding is supposed to come from and like just that type of resource. So we had to like tap into like our faculty advisor who was fortunately there to support us in that way.
Faculty advisor Dr. Laura Cerna tells us that the process for student-led programs to receive funding could be easier, but USC is committed to diversity. And the interest in this festival is clear. They received submissions across a variety of USC schools and majors. Like Vaca, a business administration major whose passion for film inspired him to open a production company.
I started this as just wanting to really amplify the voices of a lot of underrepresented individuals and minorities in entertainment.
The final Latinx Film Festival events will stream later this week. You can log on to latifamdayusc.wixsite.com/latifam to RSVP. For Annenberg Media, I'm Devark Turner in Burlington, North Carolina.
Sports fans have reason to be excited. Thousands will be allowed to attend the Laker game tomorrow at the Staples Center. Tony Quatch reports that new state guidelines allow Staples and other big venues to operate at 25% capacity.
Staples Center will welcome fans for the first time in more than a year. The Los Angeles Lakers will battle their longtime rivals, the Boston Celtics. Many Laker fans, like Peter Ruiz, hopes to be at the game.
I'm definitely excited just knowing the fact that we're able to see our players once again, and give them that push. I just feel like that plays a big part, that energy that they're giving off, it's electrifying. It will definitely help the players out,
The last sporting event at Staples was on March 11th of last year. It was a National Hockey League game between the LA Kings and the Ottawa Senators. LA Clipper fans will also return to Staples on April 18th in their game against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Hockey fans will rejoice when they come back on April 20th to watch the LA Kings take on the Anaheim Ducks. And on August 15th, LA Spark fans can see their team battle the Indiana Fever. While some fans are excited to be back, not everyone plans to return right away.
as excited as I am, I'm still not even 100% sure that I am going back. It's, like everything in the past year, it's a ongoing conversation, and, it's a whole risk reward evaluation. And, it's something I'm gonna have to discuss with my wife and, take our family into account and my work into account.
All of those attending a game at Staples Center must show proof of vaccination with their last shot date at least 2 weeks before the game. Or they can provide a negative COVID-19 test taken within 72 hours of game day. All attendees must also bring a California ID or driver's license. Edward De La Fuente is an LA Kings fan and a season ticket holder.
It's nice to have things like live sports back, but I understand we still have to take precautions. So I think, that they're doing the best that they can, and that it's going to, it's going to take all of us fans to make sure that we stay safe.
It's going to be a different experience for fans attending games at Staples Center. Everything is cashless now. Tickets are only available on your mobile devices, and no bags or purses are allowed. Fans will still have to wear a mask, maintain social distance as they cheer for their favorite teams. For Annenberg Media, I'm Tony Quach in Los Angeles.
What's up, sports fans? I'm Sydney Rocket with Annenberg Media Sports, reporting from Long Beach. It's rivalry week for 4 USC teams. Men's and women's tennis, beach volleyball, and women's soccer will face off against UCLA. Men's and women's tennis are first up in the Crosstown Showdown on Friday. Women's tennis will travel to Westwood seeking revenge after taking a loss in their previous matchup. Men's tennis will host UCLA at Marks Tennis Stadium. The Trojans are seeking their third and final win of the season against the Bruins before heading into the Pac-12 tournament on Friday, April 23rd. Number 2 USC Beach Volleyball faces number 1 UCLA on Saturday in the Center of Effort Challenge hosted by Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. The Trojans are 1 spot behind the Bruins in the coaches poll, and they beat the Bruins in their last meeting. A Trojan win on Saturday will tie the Bruins' overall record. Women's soccer will host the Bruins Friday in the Coliseum for their regular season finale. The Trojans are ranked number 2 in the Pac-12 standings, with the Bruins in the number 1 spot. Women's soccer seeks to give the undefeated Bruins their first loss of the season. And we're joined with my co-host, Lachelle Smith, to talk a little bit more about women's soccer, a little bit about the USC matchup with UCLA last time. The Trojans almost upset the Bruins, and the game came down to a double overtime tie. And since that game, the Trojans gained confidence and momentum and are now in the number 2 spot in the Pac-12. Lachelle, what do you think it's going to take for these Trojans to beat the number 1 Bruins?
I think USC already has the formula. In their last matchup against the Bruins, I think they definitely shocked them with their intensity and their ability to keep up with them. So I think for USC, all you have to do is improve upon a few of those small things that you didn't have last matchup against them, and then stick to your game plan. I think all the cards are in USC's favor to beat the Bruins and give them their first loss of the season.
Well, women's soccer isn't the only team in action this weekend. Baseball has games, and Lachelle Smith has more.
USC baseball is on a 4-game winning streak, and the guys are showing no sign of slowing down. With a 16-11 record, the Trojans are preparing to face off against Oregon in a 3-game set this weekend. The Trojans are going into the weekend showdown after winning against Fresno State on Tuesday, 2 runs to the Bulldogs 1. Tyrese Turner and Rylan Thomas added those 2 runs onto the board in the 4th and 5th innings. In the last few games, there has been a strong rotation of pitchers for the Trojans. The probables for this series are redshirt junior Isaac Esqueda, redshirt sophomores Chandler Champlain, and Alex Cornwell, who have been some of the most impressive from the mound. The battle in the Pac-12 continues for the Trojans as they look to slow down the number 14 ranked Ducks. Oregon's season record sits at 19-7 and is 6-3 in the Pac-12 conference. USC is 5-4 in conference play with a 59% season winning percentage in the current season. The Ducks are coming off a 3-game winning streak after beating Oregon State last weekend. That's all for sports. Now back to news.
Welcome to the second edition of our brand new segment, Wine Wednesday.
We'll be bridging generational gaps through pop culture discussions.
Hey, Apple! What? Knife? Huh?
I like oranges. It's been around since 2009, you said?
Yes.
Were you guys I somehow missed that for the last 12 years. I know NFT is a contemporary thing that no one has correctly has successfully explained to me yet, but I know it's a new thing.
Hey, Apple, knife. It's
I know.
So simple humor.
The thing about youth culture, it's meant to confuse older people. So I think by that definition, it worked because I'm completely confused.
I think it's funny. I'd laugh at it.
Would you watch a full series like that?
Of apples and oranges? No.
Yeah, like talking fruit and screaming fruit.
Journalists drink too much, are bad at managing emotions, and operate at a lower level than average. I don't think any of those are true. Maybe they drink too much. I'm kidding.
As a former newsroom manager, I would say that's what made my job interesting. My job was to deal with people like that and say, we have a deadline and a story to do, so let's pull together and calm ourselves and go. So it's just that part of my job was breaking up fights. And so
wow, that sounds fun.
Number one lesson is that, wow, plot twist, we're all human, and our job, we're not going to do it perfectly, but we're going to do it the best we can. Maybe with wine.
Mimi's only having grape juice, right, Mimi?
Yes, this is my relief.
Same.
There you go.
Hydrate. That's the message tonight.
Hydrate.
Hydrate. Take care of yourself. Well, that was another fabulous Wine Wednesday in the books for us. Thank you so much, Mimi, for joining us this week.
Thank you for having me. It was my first one and it was really fun. I hope to do it again sometime.
Yeah, well, I know it's crazy. We only have a couple more left, so I hope you get to join us one of these next couple of weeks. It's crazy how quickly the semester is going by.
I know, it really just flew by.
Definitely. Well, that's it for us tonight. Thank you so much for watching Annenberg TV News.
From everyone at Annenberg Media, have a great night.